Greetings and welcome back to the Better Time Challenge. I'm Sean Episcopo from NoHusbandLeftBehind.com. In this session, we'll be answering your questions about time and gratitude. And remember, my friend, that throughout this Better Time Challenge, I want you to recall that the most important thing that we do with this is focusing your time on what really matters the most to you. Now, granted, for those of us that are married, it should also include your spouse. And for those of us of the Christian faith, I believe it should also include our loving God. What we do not want it to include, though, is everybody and everything else that's coming from the outside just wanting to take, and you only have so much time and a certain amount of energy, right? So I believe that time is just way too valuable to ever waste. Truthfully, I believe that we have just enough time to finish what our Heavenly Father feels is truly most important. You've probably thought about it and heard about it being called purpose, destiny. And, think about it from the viewpoint of your wonderful, loving God has so much good for you. Why in the world would you want to waste any time at all on anything of lesser value? Now, of course, we should have the options to say yes or no to certain things. Hopefully, you feel that you do have that option. Maybe it's hard to say no to your boss and maybe say no to, your spouse at certain times, right? Yeah, just because of you feel obligated, especially when you committed to something. But maybe instead of saying no in certain situations, maybe there's something you really want to help with, but it's not of highest priority. Maybe you can just say later, look, it's something I really am concerned about, but I've got to finish these things up, first, right? Now, there's also in any given moment, perhaps you could do a little bit more of certain things that you really do enjoy, you feel are most important, and then maybe do less of certain other things that are really not, providing you the most value or, any level of peace or, joy or, you know what I mean, anything that would really be worth considering. Now, this week we're talking about gratitude. So there's different ways we can look at gratitude, but I don't want you to just think about being grateful for things inside of your heart where you keep them hidden. Now, if you have to, for whatever reason, I understand, but I want you to be open to the idea of sharing your gratitude with those who really have connected to you and have given you the reason to be grateful in the first place. So, my question is, who could you tell those two kind and loving words that so many of us enjoy hearing? Thank you. Now, just a real quick recap over the training. If you've had a chance to review the training, there's definitely more to it. If you've not had a chance to review the training yet and you're trying to get caught up, that's fine. I'm going to give you a real quick recap of the things I want you to act upon this week. So, when it comes to gratitude, the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is to take a moment and create a list of those things which you are truly most grateful for. And this is open up to whatever it is that you think is important. Maybe it's something to do with your home or your workplace or, whatever it may be. The things that our Heavenly Father has allowed you to, to be able to own and or manage or, just to be able to enjoy, right? Now, the second list I want you to create is a list of the people to whom you are truly grateful. So the first one is the things, and that's wide open to whatever whatever your mind can fantasize. Now, the people are probably, I honestly, I believe the people are far more important than the things. But I wanted to give you a chance to think about the things usually that come up very quickly. And then the people are often what's behind the things. You know what I mean? Like maybe you're grateful for your home, the place where you live. Well, truly, there's a lot of reason to be most grateful when there's people that you share it with, right? And, friends and neighbors and colleagues and people that you go to church with, people that, you volunteer with, or wherever you interact, it's often that the things which we enjoy are so much more enjoyable with the people. Now, I don't want you to feel that you have to connect the two. Things can be anything you can think about under the heavens, right? Anything here on earth in the land of the living. And the list of people can be those that are still alive. Hopefully, many of them are, but even those that have passed on. Maybe you've had relatives or, neighbors or other people that you grew up with years or even decades ago that you've lost. It's okay to be grateful for them as well. I truly am most grateful for the people that I've lost, more than a quarter of a century ago. And I still thank God for the experiences that they helped me with. And the last thing I want you to consider in the recap, my friend, is I want you to be willing, if you will, to send a thank you to those whom you are truly grateful. Now, if they've already passed, if you will, consider sending a prayer to God, thanking God for the time which you've had with them. If they are still alive and you really, really are truly most grateful, consider sending a thank you in some form, verbally, written, or however you want to do it. And if you have a lot of people that you're most grateful for, it wouldn't even hurt to maybe send a note once each week or, maybe every few days. And, I'm sure that the people in your life would really enjoy hearing from you. Now, for those of us that are still currently married by the grace of God, right, gratitude is something we need to share with our life partner. So I want you to always include your life partner, your spouse, in everything that you do. And when it comes to gratitude, consider taking a little bit of time and sharing with your spouse why you are so grateful that they are involved in your life. Now, of course, this should be genuine, from the heart, nothing polished, no speech or anything. Just a quick thank you. Thank you for being in my life. Thank you for, caring about me, loving me, sharing this life with me. And then, if you will, set aside a little bit of quality alone time for that. That's not a place where you want to necessarily have, the phone dinging and, the television playing in the background and various other things going on while you're doing that. And unless, of course, that's the only time you have, like a quick text or, just a quick note, preferably face to face when you can be. But I'm sure your spouse would love to hear those words, thank you. Now, if you will, let's go ahead and transition to questions. This is really what's most important in this session, right? So, we want to actually look at questions about time because we are in the Better Time Challenge, but we also want to consider questions about gratitude because that's what we're focusing on this week. Now, the first question that's already come in is saying thank you really necessary? Truthfully, you can have gratitude, I believe, in your heart and be most thankful for those who are still alive as well as those who are not. I believe you can be grateful to God and never tell him. But I don't know why you would want to avoid that. But now there might be people that you no longer talk to, or that unfortunately, if their health is diminished to where they don't know who you are, I guess I can understand that there may be certain times where perhaps you should hold that gratitude in your heart, but maybe even be willing just to share with a friend, maybe a best friend. Let them know how much you enjoy them, and maybe even share with them some of these other wonderful people that have come and gone or may not be around much longer, how much you've benefited from their life. Another question is, how can I tell my wife that I'm genuinely grateful for her? Well, that's a very interesting question. I know you probably know your wife better than if you've been married for any length of time. You probably know what it is that you can say and how you can say it. Maybe writing a handwritten love note and leaving it somewhere where she'll find it. Maybe actually having like a little bit of time where the two of you share a meal together, and after the meal, you spend just a moment. It could be a very short thank you. I'm so glad that you're in my life, and check it off your list. Or you can actually maybe attach some experience to that candlelight dinner and, at home, or even if you want to go out to your favorite place. For my wife and me, we like to go hiking, and that's where I like to be able to share those certain times when it's just the two of us out in the trails. But I think that whatever you do, just be genuine and do something that the two of you would actually enjoy the experience. Because it's not just saying thank you, it's remembering that for days and weeks and months and even years from now to remember that experience. So if you can make it a little bit memorable. Another question is, I suppose I should be thankful for my job, even though I am not happy. Well, when you're thankful for the job, probably the thankfulness you may feel is maybe it's the income, maybe it's the opportunity to provide, for the family or pay the bills, or maybe you are thankful in that respect. Maybe you're not happy with the job. Maybe perhaps it's tasks you have to do. Maybe it's knuckleheads you have to work with. And I can understand, my friend, throughout my working career, I've had different reasons to love and hate, or strongly dislike at least certain responsibilities or certain tasks or certain projects that just seemed that this wasn't what I signed up for, right? But now remember, it is nice to be grateful for something. So if you're grateful, try to be grateful for the income or the ability to pay the bills or whatever it is you can draw from that. The reason why you have the job in the first place. Now, as far as the parts you don't like, I would consider prayerfully seeking God about making some tweaks to them, and it may not be that it's illegal or immoral or ungodly or unethical or whatever. Maybe it's just that it's not your passion. Perhaps God in heaven can help you develop into a new position where you are, maybe into a different department, maybe even into a different company. God only knows, maybe even a different industry. You know what I mean? You never know what the next few months or even the next few years drastic changes may happen for the better. It's nice to be grateful, though, for something along that journey. Another question is, many of the people I am truly grateful for have already passed away. That's interesting. The older I get, the more my list becomes longer of those who have finished their life purpose and their body has died and their spirit has been released to God. And I know when I think back, if I go back 40 years or more in my mind, there's a number of people that I really enjoyed when I was younger, and unfortunately, I don't have them here in the physical world, in the land of the living anymore, but I have incredible memories and I'm grateful for those memories. So hopefully, even though you may still mourn the loss or grieve, realize that they had an opportunity to make an incredible impact on you. And I'm truly grateful for that in my life. And I'm sure deep down inside you are as well. Another question. Honestly, I prefer to be grateful first for my life and breath from God. That's great, my friend. That's beautiful. Then my family and close friends. And lastly, everybody and everything else. Truthfully, I think you've hit it right on the head. That's exactly the way I prioritize is my gratitude from anything that connects me directly to God, that would be first. And then second would be my gratitude that connects directly with people, would be second, like you pointed out, with family and close friends. And then lastly would be everybody and everything else, extended people that I may just, wave to in passing, wanting the best for them. And grateful for the roof over my head and the truck that I'm able to drive to places that are miles away. God only knows how long it would take me to walk. You know what I mean? Places that we have to travel out here in the country. And I think you're on the right track, my friend, that maybe all of us can learn something from that, that let's be most grateful to God first. Then let's be grateful to people second. You know what I mean? That have really made a difference in our lives, and then everybody and everything else, we can always have gratitude in our hearts, for that last category. One last question is it okay to be thankful for stuff, material possessions? I truly believe that a heart that's open to God is likely going to be grateful for anything and everything. It is interesting that even in the Holy Scriptures, we read in the Bible where Jesus taught parables, and he taught about the things which we see, the things which we hear, the things which we observe, and sometimes we even consider them mine or my neighbors or my friends, stuff, if you will. And I truly believe that we should be thankful for everything. We should have gratitude in our hearts that our loving God has been willing to share the resources with us to have a roof over our head, to have transportation, to have clothes and food, and so many other wonderful things. I think all of you are hopefully doing very well with the challenge. I know this is only our second week. We still have a few more to go. Now, if you didn't get your questions in time, let me know. You can always email them to me within the community, or we'll try to connect between now and the next session. Now, last week we did reflection. This week we're doing gratitude. And let's keep the momentum going, my friend. There's so much more, I believe, that we can do, for our own benefit, to help our family, because I want them to be grateful, don't you? And, friends and colleagues and neighbors and various people we interact with. Let's be grateful, if you will, with everyone to the best of our ability that we interact with. Now, I want to remind you that if you've not yet enrolled in the Better Time Challenge, you'll want to take a moment and visit our website, BTC, which stands for Better Time Challenge, dot nohusbandleftbehind.com. Now, we do have training videos available. We are offering these Q&A sessions, which will also be available online. But if you don't enroll, the things which you may wind up missing out on is the workbook and updates each week and any other resources that become available. We want to make sure that you have access to all of the resources within the challenge. Once you visit the website, you're only going to have to put your name and email address. This gives us a place to send you the PDFs and updates and whatever resources become available. Now, if you have any other questions, comments, concerns, or anything else, both now and in the future, please let me know. I want to make sure that you're getting what it is that you need to be the most successful person our wonderful God has designed for you to be. And if you will, if you'll take a moment to like the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and of course, share with a friend. And lastly, I want to ask you, if you've not been to our website recently, if you will, visit nohusbandleftbehind.com. This is where you're going to find additional resources and or be able to connect within our community. I want to thank you for your time, my friend. I'm so glad that you're a part of this Better Time Challenge. I wish you an outstanding upcoming week, and God bless.